If Ron Paul won the election, I bet you that the headlines would say, Obama places second.
I'd really like to see Ron Paul get the nomination for the Republican Party.
Whoa!
I really think he's a sound traditional conservative. Yeah, it's a surprising come of things, and I really think he really sticks to the Constitution and really stands for what conservatives believe in.
Okay.
Well, you know, wait. But it brings me to the other question. Is there any likely, let's say,
What are you trying to say?
top-tier GOP candidate? Because if I was a betting woman, I'd say Ron Paul doesn't have a chance.
My dumbest thing of the week is Ron Paul, and he's been on the program, and I had to scold him when he was on here because he was all over the place. I didn't know what he was talking about. I like him. I like his spirit. He's feisty and all of that. But he said something this week that's really, really dumb.
The interesting thing, Jim, about Ron Paul, I'm sure, like, deep down inside, he doesn't expect he'll win. But one thing he can do is raise money. And let's face it, his son is now a lawmaker, so he's creating quite a dynasty. So there are other reasons that these kinds of candidates run for office, right?
So Ron Paul and his supporters often complain that they don't get enough media attention, but we're fixing that today. We are. He's been on TV a lot lately. He's actually polling in 4th place in a lot of places, Kimberly. Do you think that we're missing something that he could actually pull ahead?
Look, I don't think we're missing something ultimately. I don't think he's going to be able to get the Republican nomination, nor do I think that he's going to be the third-party candidate. He has that idea in him specifically. Do I think he thinks he can get it? Yes. And we've covered him quite a bit on this show. This is another statement. It's not a surprise.
Yes, it's true. The country is moving towards some domestic restraining government issues. But he's for heroin. He legalization. Yeah, for legalization of heroin. He's against the...
Can I ask you a question? You know, Ron Paul is running for president, and he says FEMA just gets in the way, and that it wastes money, and it tells people they can't go home. I mean, what do you think about this political debate about FEMA and the federal role in disaster response? I mean, and quite frankly, talk about, you know, dollar for dollar. If you're going to fund FEMA, you got to take a dollar from somewhere else.
I think he's an idiot.
That's blunt.
So Ron Paul has a very loyal following, and they will be out there loud as ever. And you know they can get loud, they can get noisy for Ron Paul. And they'll be out there in these early contests. He's not going to...
they like to give it money, too.
Ron Paul's ad, I think, I find a little irritating because it mostly appeals to the ignorant.
It's time if he wants to do it with FEMA, I want to do it with Ron Paul. I mean, maybe that would be a fair swap, I think.
For someone in Texas to be talking about FEMA perhaps being defunded, it really does rise to idiocy and hypocrisy.
The public didn't see it last night, but Rick Perry gave him an earful last night.
Yeah, I don't know why, because, I mean, with all due respect to the congressman, you know, he's not really a factor. And we had this last night on our program. He's entertaining, he's a gadfly, he has some good ideas, but he has no shot.
Ron Paul's history is this. He can do many things that a candidate needs to do well. He can get press attention. He can stay on message as good as any candidate ever think. He can raise money hand over foot. These are important elements. The one thing that he has not been able to do is get votes.
It's tough because every time when I hear what he says, I agree with almost everything, but I just look at him and I go, that's not my guy.
Right. You want to go on Libertarian Island with him.
I want to go on Libertarian Island.
Yes.
It goes crazy whenever Ron Paul claims to be a Reaganite, and I have to agree with him. And by the way, every time we do a segment about this, you know, kind of blasting Ron Paul for his inconsistency or his foreign policy,
yeah.
boy, do we get the Paulites come out in force and just, you know, the evil emails and how terrible, but we got to do it anyway. We have to call attention.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a strategic factor in the race. I think he'll be there. He'll come in 3rd, 4th, 5th, which is what he did last time, and he'll have to drop out.
Here is somebody, a Ron Paul supporter. It's fantastic stuff, and I just want to play this for you because here's somebody who knows the Constitution and wants to make sure.
Ron Paul is wrong. The president did the absolute right thing.
Okay, so this is dumb, correct?
This is dumb.
Yeah.
If Ron Paul wins, the media automatically discredits the poll. They'll say, Ron Paul has no real chance of winning. They're trying to stack Ron Paul supporters who he mustn't hate either. Despite the fact that Ron Paul has won the CPAC straw poll 2 years in a row, He won the Republican Leadership Conference straw poll, and he recently won the California Republican Party straw poll, and many others. Herman Cain just won a straw poll, and the media is going crazy. Bachmann wins Ames, Plenty in distant third. Romney leads New Hampshire, Huntsman in third, Herring in fourth. At least pretend to be fair. Maybe it was an honest mistake. We should have got to mention the second place winner.